It is Wednesday morning. It is May the 14th. May the 14th. And this is Coffee Talk. Rise and shine, my friends. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a great start to the day. It is just beautiful outside. Hold on a second. I haven't had any coffee yet. Doing the Palm Beach County tour. So my coffee is still forthcoming. But we're doing Coffee Talk and we're going to sip the Ensure Max protein shake. We'll make it work. Disney Springs, little hazy, still a lovely start. Let me take you over to Port Canaveral, see what's doing out that way. A lovely start. The sun is shining. Had the fog yesterday, not tracking it this morning, really. Maybe a little bit of haze, but we can handle that. We can handle that. It's lovely outside, isn't it? No matter where in Central Florida you are, I'm happy to say we are looking good this morning. And that's the way we shall stay, my friends. I love a pretty morning. Don't you? Isn't it just the best? Isn't it just the best? Temperatures comfortable, not too hot, not too cool. Let's look, as a matter of fact, get a status update, all right? First and foremost, here's a live look in on our first warning Doppler radar. We're looking good. No rainfall whatsoever. We look at temperatures out the door and we find 60s and 70s, depending on where you are. I would add, we need to enjoy what we've got because the heat is going to be building and building and building. Look at the 12-hour forecast for us today. Not looking at rainfall. It's gorgeous. Lunchtime temperature 82, 83 or so. We get to 85 degrees by 1 o'clock, 88 degrees our daytime high. Partly cloudy skies. It's looking good. My friends, it's looking good outside today. But that west-southwest wind lets you know the entire story. It lets you know we're starting to heat things up. Take a look at Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. We'll start here and then we'll work our way through, okay? So today is 88. Tomorrow is 92. Then 94. Then 96. Yeah. We've got some heat moving into Central Florida. No doubt about it. Also, remember how I said we're not into the rainy season yet, right? Yeah, because we had that cold front move through Sunday, Monday, helped to dry the atmosphere out, and now we're sitting here, and what we're looking at is dry air. Now, eventually we'll get that rain machine started up again, but you can clearly see that's not the case in the 7-day forecast. Now, that's our forecasting, right? Let's look at the American GFS model, get an idea of what it's trying to do to us. Okay. Notice it's keeping that heat around through what? The 22nd, the 23rd, 24th. It's trying to show a little change around the 25th. So we'll have to, when we look at the model data, we're definitely going to want to look and see what the model's trying to hint at there. But until that point, we're looking blasted hot. Beverly says this is a great time for my AC to quit. Did it quit? Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Cindy, good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. All right, everybody, good morning, good morning. I'll pop up our 7-day forecast again, just to kind of illustrate that. And for those of my friends that live along the coast, can't have you forgotten either. So let's dial up our coastal 7-day forecast so that you're handled. It's not 96, but it's still blasted hot for you. Maybe a coastal sprinkle today. Not expecting much, but that's about it. And then it's 92. It's 94 degrees at the coast, for goodness sake. I mean, even you are getting blasted hot. Uh-huh. That's it. So, sorry to say it. Sorry to see it. But the heat is absolutely on. So then that, of course, begs the question, right? Like, what's going on? Why are we getting just so hot? What's the deal? Well, it's called compressional heating. And essentially what happens is you get this big ridge of high pressure building in. So through the weekend, watch that ridge of high pressure building and building and building. And because it's sitting so close to us, the air over top of us is compressing because remember, with high pressure, the air sinks. And it's like an internal combustion engine. And actually, you know what? This graphic is dated because if you look at the wind flow, the area of high pressure is actually like right there. So we need to, I'll fix that. Hold on. Stand by. Doot, 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 doot. Give me a second. Click you. Click you. Time to make the sausage. Like the high pressure's right there. So think about an internal combustion engine, right? Pull, push. What is it? It's squeeze. It's pull, push, bang, blow, right? It's that push that compresses it, causes the compression. Same exact thing atmospherically. I'm gonna have to use that. I'm trying to teach weather. I mean, obviously on Coffee Talk, but like more than that, I want to start teaching pilots about weather. It's a side thing. So at any rate, as that area of high pressure basically sits right over top of us, we build in the heat. So we're expecting to see the hottest air we have seen yet this season. Case in point, our temperatures have gotten to 93 degrees so far this year. That's the hottest Orlando has gotten. Saturday's forecast 96 degrees. And to put that into perspective, let's talk a little bit about record highs, okay? Let's start with Friday. All right, here's Friday's forecast temperatures on the left column and records on the right. Not really expecting records for Friday. Orlando 94. I mean, that's blasted hot, don't get me wrong. But that's not, you know. Now let's look at Saturday. Okay, now we're in the ballpark. Orlando's record on Saturday, 96, 97 is the record, 96 is the forecast. That's a record that goes back over 100 years, for goodness sake. Sanford tying a record, Leesburg getting awful close to a record, Daytona getting awful close to a record, Melbourne not expecting it, but still. Hot. Brian says, thank goodness Daytona's a bit cooler. I mean, is it a bit cooler? Genie killing me softly with this heat, killing me so. Wait for the summer, wait for the summer. That heat will get you. Bow, bow, bow. Anyway, so that's Saturday. Okay, good stuff. Let's look at Sunday. Because why not? All right, here's Sunday. Same idea. Forecast in Orlando, 96. Record, 97 going back to 1930. You're talking 95 years. Sanford record. Leesburg, awful close to a record. Daytona, thank goodness you're cooler. Cooler, right? So there we go. You get the picture, right? Hottest air of the year moving into Central Florida. Every time I talk to whether or not you may know this, you may not know this. Manolfi and I have our daily conference call. It's not even a work thing. It's not like it's a requirement. If I'm on vacation, if I'm working, if he's on vacation, if he's working. I mean, if we're out of the pocket, then that's that. But we talk to each other darn near every day. And it's usually like right after coffee talk. He's like, how you doing, bud? How you doing, bada bing? And it's just like the theme of our calls here recently has been, I can't believe, like, look at the normal high at the bottom, 88. It's almost, this weekend, it's an 89. And it's like, I can't believe that we're here. I cannot believe summer's already here. Isn't that something? Like, tropical weather outlooks begin tomorrow. Lauren says, nice song, don't quit your day job. Oh, I know. Listen, I know. You don't have to tell me. I have fun singing. Is anybody in this room very good at singing? No, probably not. Do we have fun? Yeah, we really do. Lino's a speedway will feel like a hot, dry, burning desert for Rockville. You're not wrong, right? So Joseph's asking, how long will the heat dome last? Well, we're looking at probably 9, 10 days or so, right? Taylor, can we friggin' not? This is why I didn't complain much when it was cold. Are you serious? You didn't complain much? Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay, Taylor. We won't call you on your malarkey. Jeannie Rowan, great fun. Love your say. Thank you. It's not good. I get it. It's okay. Come for the weather, endure for the singing. All right, I get it. I get it. All right. So that's kind of where. So then, of course, the question is like, well, how long is this going to last? But before we get to that, I got an email this morning from a viewer, and sometimes these viewers can get particularly nasty. This wasn't nasty. This was a nice one. Um, it said, I watch Kellyanne every morning without fail. And basically, he just said he wanted to know these temperatures are building, but how does the humidity play in? Is it summer humidity or is it not quite summer humidity? And I thought that was a great question. So he wasn't nasty, which means, and I don't know if he's watching Coffee Talk. Odds are he probably isn't, statistically. If he is, thank you for not being a, putz in your email. But the question arises, of course. How's the humidity? I know one of you was going to ask. So notice Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's when the temperatures really start to skyrocket, right? All right. So this is the muggy meter for us right now, okay? And it's the scale, just so that you know. When we get, these are dew point temperatures, okay? When we get dew point temperatures in the 70s, that's when we call it humid. Okay? So what is the muggy meter, Burris? The muggy meter is a way for us to talk about humidity and try and, for lack of a better term, make it relatable. That's called dumbing it down. We're not dumb. I didn't say that. All it is it's trying to make it a little easier to comprehend. Remember, we do TV hits. You get 2.5 minutes to do weather. Coffee Talk we have all the time in the world. It's basically a DeLorean on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube, right? So anything with dew point temperature of 70 and above is humid. 75 and above is steamy. 79 and above is flippin' miserable. So, with that said, let's look ahead at the dew point temperatures on the muggy meter, okay, going into the weekend. Notice they climb, but they're still comfy. If it were summer, I'm going to just tell you it would be humid. You would see dew point temperatures in the lower 70s. Is it a gross difference? No, but is it a difference? Yes. So it's not, even though it's going to end up being 96 degrees in the afternoon this weekend, it's not going to feel disgusting. Asterisk. It's not going to feel as disgusting. I mean, it's going to be 96, but it's not going to be quite at that level, okay? So in case you were curious, that's the way that plays out, okay? Yes, it's going to be blasted hot, but is it going to be summer hot? No. Right. But we're getting there, right? Lori's asking, so explain the dew point, please. Sure. So think of it like this, okay? I don't have a glass here. Let's just use my water bottle, okay? The atmosphere is essentially a water bottle, okay? And the dew point basically means at what point does the moisture in the air convert to water, okay? So in terms of atmosphere, it's the saturation point. So if the air is drier, let's just look. If the air is, I'll pull up the other one here. So if the air is drier, if it's pleasant. If the dew point temperature, we'll say the dew point temperature is 50, that means that the air temperature has to get down to 50 before it's saturated. The temperature can never drop below the dew point. Think of it as the basement. Once the air temperature drops to the dew point, you can build fog. That's where. So when I'm looking at like the skew T diagrams, where does the temperature and the dew point hit? Guess what happens in the atmosphere when the temperature and the dew point hit? Clouds, right? So the higher the dew point, you can't bring that temperature lower, which is also why what is one of the main things that starts up our rainy season? Let's look at this. Wet season signals is the graphic. What's one of the main ingredients? First off, you need the cold fronts to stop. Why? Because the cold fronts typically drop the dew point. Second, you need those daily sea breeze storms. You need the moisture for that. But this is the main one right here. Low temperatures and dew point temperatures, upper 60s to lower 70s consistently. That cold front moved through, it dropped the dew point briefly. We dried out atmospherically. Once you keep your dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s consistently, you start with the moisture, right? The humidity. So that's kind of the thing. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? That's a really great meteorological question. And hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. Stacy says, I'm grateful for coffee talk. Singing is a bonus because it suits my personality. Love it. Terry says, I can deal with the heat, but add the high humidity and I will be a hermit. I get that. Yeah. We don't like all those little molecules of sweat in the air. It's true. Yeah. It's like a boiling pot of water with the lid on. It's the steam from. Yeah. Well, think about it. Yeah. I'm feeling very, Bruce. So that's the idea. So Justine is asking what causes the dew points to rise? Moisture. It's moisture, right? If you're in the desert, it's a dry heat. Why is it a dry heat? Like, let's look at Vegas right now. All right. I'm going to pull up just. Give me a second. I'm just going to pull up Las Vegas. All right. So let's look at Vegas right now. It's a dry heat. All right, so give me a few seconds. I got to put it in here. Got to do that. Paste that there. Hit OK. Hit OK. All right, so this is the Vegas data. Harry Reid International Airport. Current temperature 61. Go to the right. What's that dew point? 30. Their dew point is 30. So that means that the atmosphere is saturated at 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 61 now. It's not going to get to the dew point because because the temperature, I mean, it could theoretically, but it's not because of clouds. But basically, a dew point of 30, super, super, super dry, right? So that's the idea there. This is using the National Weather Service website, by the way, if you're curious what I'm pulling up here. I explained Florida humidity to people to take the hottest shower their water goes and then put clothes on before drying off. That works. If dew points are so important to understand how we feel outside, why doesn't West show dew points on the weather hits and 7-day? We do, but you also have to understand dew point is a little in the weeds. Why don't we show a skew T when there's severe weather on the air? Sometimes I have. But our job, Chris, is to try to make it easy to understand. And again, remember, like I've been talking to you for 19 minutes. I don't have 19 minutes on Wesh 2 News, right? So you have to use your time and do the things as best as you can in the time allotted. And at the end of the day, like this is a kind of a niche or niche market right now. Like you and I, all of us, we're hanging out. You came here because this is a weather discussion. So you are, like it or not, a nerd. And because of that, like it or not, we are diving deeper here. But on the air, you don't dive as deep. It's just, I mean, if we get into hurricane coverage or something, or severe weather coverage, that's different. But in a standard newscast, it has nothing to, I mean, dumbing it down, I've never liked that word because it's not dumbing it down. I mean, I've done skew T on the air. It's not that people are dumb at all. It's just time management and trying to tell a concise story, right? And I think that that's what it is at the end of the day. So we came here to judge the millennial and snark and occasionally sing. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. So that's kind of the idea there. You know? I'm just looking and seeing. I can't find, I guess that didn't get posted. I wanted to pull up here while we were talking. I wanted to pull up my report from yesterday. I'm going to try and pull it up here. Here, no, that's Coffee Talk. All right. If I hit that.
To be prepared. First warning, meteorologist Eric.
All right. Did you bring your own band to Palm Beach? Yeah. It's we call ourselves the Hurricanes. All right, let me show you real quick my report from yesterday. I'm doing all this on a laptop. Bear with me, people. All right, that's a very big Jesse Pagan. Love him, though. All right, let me make you smaller, Jesse. Love you, though. All right, I want to share with you my report from yesterday. This was from the Governor's Hurricane Conference. And I want to, I'll use this as a way to just kind of like get into tracking the tropics today and just kind of see where we're at. So why don't you all take a listen and we'll go from there. Stand by. And it was very productive, peeking my head into several classes today. Just working through scenarios from evacuations to the overall idea of responding to different situations.
Less than 3 weeks and counting, so we all need to be prepared. First warning meteorologist Eric Burris helping us get ready. Now's the time to do it. He's live at the Governor's Hurricane Conference with more on the schedule today. Eric.
Yeah, so think of today as kind of the last day of workshopping, where everybody was sitting together and working through these training exercises. And it was very productive, peeking my head into several classes today. Just working through scenarios from evacuations to the overall idea of responding to different situations. You put people from all different walks of life, all different places, all different positions, trying to run through these scenarios, and everybody grows and learns. And as a matter of fact, we caught up with Anthony Mattarella from the University of Central Florida. He's involved in their emergency management process there. And I want you to listen to what he's getting from this conference. Take a listen.
You meet these people and you get to know their process and you reflect on your own process and you see how you can plan, how you can effectively communicate with the community even better. So I think that these connections help with the planning aspect. And then once that incident occurs, you have those people to call on for resources.
So it's making relationships, it's building bridges, and it's knowing that when a storm threatens, whether it be this year, next year, years down the line, you've made connections and you know who to call to kind of get advice or even resources, especially heading into the future where FEMA on a federal level maybe takes a little bit of a lesser role and starts building more and more into state and local governmental work. So really and truly, these types of sessions are very, very vital. Looking ahead to tomorrow, general session in the big ballroom upstairs. The exhibit floor opens, and that's something that's going to be particularly interesting because that's where the latest and greatest of technology will be shown, from tiger dams to goodness knows what else. And I can see them through the cracked door setting up. So it's going to be a busy day, and certainly we'll be with you exclusively in Central Florida, taking you there live. So something to look forward to for tomorrow. But for now, that's the very latest in Palm Beach County. Covering the Governor's Hurricane Conference in West Palm Beach, I'm meteorologist Eric Burris, WESH 2 News.
Okay, so that was yesterday. And, today we'll get on to the convention floor, do all that fun stuff. But I think that it's at least a good way to kind of parlay over to what's going on in the tropics, right? I saw this morning a couple of call it my naivety, but like I saw a couple of posts of people talking about tropics developing. We have to be afraid. We have to be scared. So let's look, see what the GFS is showing, okay? Looking through time, little something of an area of low pressure out east of us. Does not look like anything scary. Little area of low pressure in the Caribbean. Nothing significant. There's nothing significant. Okay? So if you're following people on the interwebs, understand clickbait is a thing and that perhaps the clickbait will get you. We're not going to do that on Coffee Talk. We're just going to look through and just see. So GFS not really showing a whole lot of anything. Let's get over to the European. Just kind of see what's doing. Broad area of low pressure out over the Atlantic. Doesn't look like anything significant, at least tropically. Little piece of energy there. That'll be interesting to see. Doesn't look like anything that'll develop. I mean, if it is, it could be an area of interest at most, I would think. Little front there on the 25th, 26th. That's the pattern change there that I think will try to break down our dry, hot setup, right? That's May 25th, May 26th, May 27th. You see how that little ribbon of low pressure? Little weak front. Does it try to make it here? Yeah. Does it actually make it through? Does it change our pattern around? Perhaps a little bit. All right. So yeah. Nothing tropical. Nothing tropical. Linda says, I honestly don't see any weather people doing that. I like all of them. I would say 90% of the weather people that I know are responsible in what they do. But I every morning, like when I wake up and log on to the social media, I'm just like, really? I also understand I follow a lot more than y'all do. That's my job, right? So it is what it is. All right, so there's a 7-day forecast. Questions, comments, concerns as we're entering into the home stretch of not hurricane season. Can't believe we're already there. Thank you, Pamela. I appreciate it. Kind of shocked the GFS doesn't produce a GFS-icane. It will, Jamie. You know it will. Absolutely it will. Linda, but you're my favorite. Love you. Thank you, Linda. Questions, comments, concerns, anything? Yes, Nancy said it best. Stay hydrated. With that kind of heat, near record, to record heat, please stay hydrated. Please take it easy. Please. Maybe we should categorize high pressure events. We got a Cat 5 high this week. Phil Klotzbach gets down here to the Governor's Hurricane Conference this week. And I do hope to sit down with him and have a nice discussion about the. I hope to have a nice discussion with him about the pressure scale that he's trying to propose. Matthew says, I've seen online reports that the water temperatures in the main development region a couple of degrees lower than normal. What's your take on that? I know it's a bit early. Well, where would I find that? Let me find that link. Hold on. It's this one. All right. Okay, so let's talk about, you want to talk about sea surface temperatures. Remember, I'm a data guy. Data is data. All right. Daily sea surface temperatures. Let's do Atlantic Hurricane Main Development Region. So what you're looking at here is the temperatures. So let's just zoom in. All right, so there's the graph. So that red line is where we are, right? The dotted lines are average. The orange line is the record, or I believe last year, actually, which they coincide. So in the main development region, we're warmer than average. We're not as hot as last year, but we're absolutely warmer than average. The two dotted lines are two different average bases. So it's above average. That's the main development region. We can break that down further and we can go to the Gulf. There's the Gulf. Okay. Well above average. We were getting close to top. We were at one point like top 4 or top 5. Now we've gotten much closer to the average. Yeah. Yeah. So the yeah. I'm just looking at the data set. So the thicker of the dotted lines is 91 to 2020. The lighter of the dotted lines is 82 to 2010. So it's just different climate bases. All right. So yeah, the yellow line was last year. Oh, this one I probably need to shift it. Hold on. There's the Gulf temperatures. So yeah, we're warmer than average in terms of the main development region, and this is the Gulf. Now, the Gulf has cooled down a little bit with that front that just moved through. I'm sure that it will continue to climb, though. Yeah, data's data, right? I will only ever show you data, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. All right, people, that's all we got. I'll pop up the 7-day forecast. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Terry says, we appreciate all of this experience that you share with us. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Sonia, good morning. Vocalist 1969 over on YouTube. Good morning to you. Any wins this week? Always. Kind of a Southwest today. Yeah. Matthew says, perhaps that report was comparing now versus last year. Certainly could be. Certainly could be. Last year was record breaking for over 100 days. All-time record breaking. So it makes sense. Jamie, no, heading home Friday. Friday morning, I'll head home. Yeah. Yep. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, people? Anything? All right. Sonia, can you please show the... girl, I did. I got you. I did. I'll do it for you again, just because it's you. It's not as hot along the coast, but I think you'll see the heat builds even for you. Yeah. 94, 93, 94. That's and I will add a concern on our coastal 7-day forecast is the idea that rip current threats will persist, and thus you put people into the water, and you may not end up with the greatest scenario. So there's that. All right, all right. It's 8:33. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for hanging out for coffee talk. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Sound good? Sound good. All right. Take